improve the areas of personal credit, business credit, helping them to increase their savings and also reducing their debt as well. We've helped over 4.5 million in regards to financial dignity services. That's also rendered to our youth and our adults as well. 72% of our HOPE clients improve their credit scores after 6 months. Yes, 72%.
Sherman,
We have.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. We can't see your presentation yet.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Might have been on my end, the screen sharing. You should have permission to share now.
There we go.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for letting me know. Awesome. We have 26,000 volunteers for HOPE that help us to make this program be successful. Over 150 HOPE Inside locations. Here in the Birmingham area, we are blessed to have 2 areas, one in Roebuck and also one in Fairfield. We also have a designated coach for the city of Birmingham as well. So we have sources available all over. Over 40,000 schools and community organization partners. We assisted more than 400 in starting new business, 1.37 million in disaster services. We all know this is much needed during this COVID time. So we have turned our services over to assist in that manner as well. And then 1.4 billion in funded in mortgages, as well as 1 million in youth empowered with financial literacy. So Operation HOPE is here to assist you all. You'll get to hear more from me here in a moment. At this time, I'm going to turn it over and let HOPE Credit Union speak up and tell you a little about their organization.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mary Ann Gibbons, and I am one of the branch managers of HOPE Credit Union in Montgomery, Alabama. HOPE Credit Union has been in business for over 25 years. We have a threefold part with HOPE. We have our HOPE Enterprise Corporation, we have the HOPE Credit Union, and we have the HOPE Policy Corporation. The HOPE Enterprise Corporation is a not-for-profit 501(c)(3). We offer loan funding. We have the Policy Institute up under that. We have our community development under that, and our CDFI and CDE under that. And what our mission is to strengthen communities, build assets, and improve lives in economically distressed areas in the Mid-South by providing access to affordable, high-quality financial products and related services. And we do that by being able to offer financial literacy classes to our to our members, not just offering a product to a member, but offering assistance. We're giving them guidance on what their what meeting their needs. Because what we want to do is to help people have strong financial stability. And we believe that knowledge is power, that when we go through a process of approving a loan or open up an account with a potential member or member, we want to be able to explain to that member what the account entails and how it can meet their need. Going over their credit with them. When we approve loans, we just don't approve loans. We actually underwrite all of our loans. All our loans are not put into a system and generate approval or not. We actually underwrite every loan ourselves, and then we do financial counseling with that member, no matter what the credit score is. If it's in the 4s or all the way to the 8, we always look for opportunities to help people. And for our businesses, the same way. We, really find ways, unique ways to set us apart from everyone else to be able to help our members get to where they need to be. And even if we're not able to help someone meet their need at that point in time, we always give them the tools that they need to get to where they want to go in life. So, I've been doing this for over, when I counted, which is over to like 20 some years, 23 years in this industry, and I absolutely love it. So we're here to help wherever someone may need, whether it's a business or personal. We offer mortgages, consumer loans, personal loans. We offer a lot of things that other institutions do not offer. And I will be discussing a little bit more in detail some things to help you along the way shortly. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Marianne. Next, we're going to hear from HICA. They're going to tell us a little about their organization as well.
Thank you all for having me here. You know, this is a live video and we have little incidents sometimes. But again, thank you. My name is Celsa Stallworth and I am a financial coach at HICA, which is the Hispanic Interest Coalition of Alabama. At HICA, we envision a stronger Alabama by building bridges between our immigrant community and our host community. And the way we do that is by empowering our community socially and economically and culturally, definitely civically. At HICA, we have 4 different departments. We have a Strong's Families department where the ladies there help in a variety of manners. It can be from navigating the community for newly arrived immigrants, the resources to registering children for school, to finding resources in the community that can help out, advocating for language access. Also, there's a lot of other information that they can help, court advocacy. We have our Growing Communities department. In that department, our college access program sits where we can help bridge that gap between colleges and parents, their children, and how they access college, because newly arrived immigrants in the community access college education is different in their home countries. So when they come here, they need to navigate that system. Our program called Juntos helps with that. Juntos, which means together. Children and their parents can work together to navigate that system to access to college. We have our Immigration and Citizenship program that helps with the DACA, with the renewing of the DACA program, with family petitions, and certain visa applications. And of course, the 4th department is the Community Economic Development Department. And we do business empowerment, financial coaching. We're newly certified HUD. Our HUD agent is bilingual, and she is helping build those dreams, fulfill those dreams of home ownership. And it's amazing how you see that work come to be. So we're here in the Birmingham area. Virtually, we're still open and we're helping our community. Like I said, just grateful to be part of this webinar and helping you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Celsa. So now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of business credit. So the first thing that we want you all to realize, in order for your business credit to be in order, you need to have your personal credit in order. So we feel like it's very vital for you to be a successful business owner that you know how to manage your personal credit. If you can't manage your personal credit, we definitely couldn't expect for you to manage your business credit. If you were to walk in a bank as a new business, typically they're going to review your personal credit to see how you have managed yourself from a personal standpoint. And from there, that helps you to build your business credit. So we want to first start off by just giving you some tools in regards to personal credit that we feel like are very valuable to help you to establish. The first thing that we recommend is get your credit report. So there are 3 bureaus available: Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. You can pull your credit report through annualcreditreport.com. And I will tell you, during the COVID situation, they are currently allowing for you to pull your credit report at least once a week. So please take advantage of that. Know where you stand. That's the main thing that we want you to understand in the beginning for you to establish business credit is you need to know where your personal credit is. I have so many clients that come in and they're just not sure exactly where their personal credit stands, but they want to start a business. In order to start that business, we need to take the first step with that personal credit. And I oftentimes have to tell them, hey, let's take a step back. Let's work on this personal credit, because if your personal affairs are not in the correct order, we can't expect for you to successfully be able to run a business. So again, we highly encourage that you go in, pull your credit report at least one time out of the year, but if I was you, I would take advantage of that weekly that they have going on now. You want to make sure that you're looking for any inaccuracies on your credit report, anything on there that you need to work on improving, any collection items, any items that are past due, and really just staying on top of making sure that you are paying your items as you should to help build that credit as well. It's very vital for you to pull that credit report and for you to have access to what's on your credit. The next thing that we want you to understand is knowing your credit score. So you may say to yourself, what's considered as a good credit score? This particular model gives you a good breakdown of what's considered as poor credit and what's considered as excellent credit. So scores of 584 or below are considered as poor credit. And do you know you can have no credit score? Yes, that can happen, and we see that all the time. If you have not had anything reported to your credit report in the last 6 months, it can show that you do not have a score. So that's another reason why it's important to see, hey, do I have something ongoing reporting to my credit to help increasing my credit score as well? Fair credit is considered from 585 to 660. Good credit, it's 670 to 699. When you're dealing with that good credit range, that typically is going to be a range that is going to allow for you to be more credit worthy. And if you were to walk into a bank or to go online and apply somewhere, you typically would be approved around this range. 700 to 729, this is where we strive to get all of our clients at Operation Hope, but this is something that we consider as good credit. That's a credit range that everyone should try to strive to be in. And then 730 is excellent credit. You have no issues on your report. Everything on there is awesome, and you've done a great job with managing your credit. So make sure that you understand your credit. All three bureaus will have a separate score, so make sure that you do take a look at what each score is. Oftentimes we have clients saying, hey, why is there such a difference in the scores? Well, honestly, we can't really tell you. It's based off of their scoring model, but I will tell you, you do want to take a look at all three so you can have an understanding of what those scores are as well. So your credit score, what makes up of it? A lot of times people just think that it's just a number that's thrown out there, but there is an algorithm to all of the credit scores that you have. So the largest part of your credit score comes from your payment history. So if you do not do anything else, pay your items on time. If you're wondering how to build your credit, pay your items on time. 35% of that score comes from you having consecutive payments. Anything that you have, you want to make sure that you make your payment each month and making sure that that item's paid as it should be. That's going to help to establish your history. A lot of times clients are coming in and wondering, how can I increase my credit score? Payment history. A lot of times it's dealing with time and you actually paying that item month after month after month. If you have one mistake, say for instance, you forgot to pay that bill that particular month, and you have one item that hits your credit score, you will see a drop in your credit score. But if you over time continue to see positive payment histories, you're going to be okay with that credit score, and it's not going to be as detrimental to you. But if you just consecutively keep paying items late and having late after late after late, you will see a difference in your credit score, and it will be negatively impacting you. 30% of your credit score does come from utilization. Anytime that you open a credit card, you do not want to max that entire credit card out. You do want to use only 30% of what your available credit is for that credit card. This does impact your score. Do you know that you can have a great credit score, but your utilization can be decreased, or your score can be decreased based off of the utilization as well? So that's why we always recommend make sure that you manage your credit cards properly. I know circumstances happen where you may have to use those cards more, but try to not use those cards more than what you could afford to pay back each month. Your credit length, your length of credit history is 15%. So how long you've had an account established does make a difference. If you're like me, my very first credit card was a department store card. I'm telling my age here, but it was actually Rich's. I don't know if anybody remember Riches, but it's Macy's nowadays. So I remember being 18 and of course not knowing much about credit because I wasn't properly taught about credit. I walked into the store and they say, hey, would you like to sign up for this card? Of course I'm signing up because it had something that came along with it, usually a little 20% discount, which you're going to pay back in interest. So this is something that I decided to sign up for, but that's my longest standing card on my credit report. So guess what? Now that I came to my senses and I know better about credit, I only use the card occasionally to make sure that I keep the card open and make sure that I properly utilize the card correctly in paying it off each month. Also, account diversity makes a sense, makes up your credit score, makes up 10% as well. Are you aware if you do not have a mortgage on your credit report at a certain age, that can also go against your credit score as well. They can show up that you have non-mortgage information on your credit. So you do want to make sure that you have a great mix. I have a lot of people that come in and say, I don't fool with credit cards. I don't touch those. Well, you want to have that credit card as an option for you. Use it for emergency purposes. Keep it in the envelope and never open the envelope if you need to do that. But it is vital that you have a mix of credit that's available for you. And then 10% does come from new credit. So anytime you do open a new account, you will see a decrease in your score, and that does affect your credit score as well. So that gives you a good overview of what your credit score is made up of. So you'll know, hey, it's just not a number, that it is making up over a certain amount of percentage. So the next topic I would like to talk about is just establishing and rebuilding your credit. As a financial well-being coach, this is one of my focuses that I help with each of my clients. We sit down with clients on a one-on-one basis and allow for them to review their credit report for free, along with their score, and helping them to create a plan to rebuild a credit. It is not something that you feel like, I've got this bad credit score and it's just here to stay. That is not the case. You can rebuild and you can reestablish with a proper plan that we can also help you establish as well to help you to be on track. In regards to establishing and rebuilding that credit, it protects you against identity theft. So if you do have any issues with that, we can help you to get that on track. Dispute any inaccurate information. I mentioned that earlier, but make sure if there's something on there that's not correct, make sure that you do go in and you do a dispute on that. Just so you'll know, 1 in 4 credit reports typically do have an error, whether it's an address, a date of birth. I actually had a female that was a senior on her credit report last week. So you never know, it's different things that can show up on the credit report. So you do want to make sure you go in and take a look at that. Settling accounts, any accounts that you have on the credit report, that cable bill that you didn't pay when you were in college, anything that you have that you did not taken care of can show as a collection, and we do recommend for you to get those items taken care of. Prioritize which debt you need to pay off. We recommend starting with the smallest to the largest so you can see a difference of your credit report. That way you're having a plan and you can see your progress that you're making, and you can also see the increase with your credit report. A great way to build your credit is also establishing credit with a secure credit card. You can set that up with any major banks such as Hope Credit Union. I'm sure they offer those, but that does give you the opportunity to rebuild your credit where you're actually providing them funds. They provide a card back to you that you want to utilize under 30%, as I mentioned before, and making sure that you're having that paid off each time, and that reports to your credit report. Also, clearing up any public records. So making sure that you have anything that may affect your credit report as well cleared up. And don't close any accounts that you have, as well as paying off accounts with balances is very vital too. So how long do items stay on your credit report? If it is a charge-off or a collection account, it does stay on the report 7 years from the date that it became delinquent. Make sure that you're aware of the date that it came delinquent, because a lot of people will look at the opening date and confuse that as 7 years from that. So make sure that you're looking at the correct date. Judgments, civil judgments, 7 years from the filing date. Tax liens, 7 years from the date that it's paid. If you're having bankruptcy, Chapter 7, 11, or 12, you're typically looking at 10 years. In Chapter 13, you're typically looking at 7 years. One thing people feel like with bankruptcy, oh God, I have 10 years that I have to wait until I can reestablish. That's not the case. Typically with bankruptcy, after you've had bankruptcy for 2 years, you can actually purchase a home. And you will actually start seeing more credit card offers and more things coming in the mail after you've had that bankruptcy. So you can get yourself reestablished from that and getting you back on track as well. So that concludes my portion of the presentation that talks about personal credit. I have left my information here for you all, as well as I will be sending an email out, because I know we did mention that we will provide credit reports free for anyone that's on the call today. So I want to make sure that everyone takes advantage of that service, and you'll receive that email from me. And if you're interested in receiving that, just responding back, and I'll provide you with the correct documents to get that taken care of. So just remember personal credit as being vital for you with your business credit. And at this time, we're going to turn it over to Hope to start talking with you in regards to your business credit.
Before we start with the next part of the presentation, if I could just jump in, if we could get everybody in the participants, all the participants, if you wouldn't mind, have you pulled your credit report in the last, let's say, 6 months? If you have, drop a yes in that chat. If you have not, drop a no in that chat, just so we know where we're standing on personal credit. Awesome, awesome. Thanks so much for sharing. Great, these are really good things. Sí, excelente. Thank you, awesome. Excellent, excellent. Yeah, so I did not know that you could pull it on a weekly basis. Now that is a big change. I was one of those on an annual basis. I would get excited about looking at my credit report, but having that access on a weekly basis is just so empowering. Awesome, thanks for sharing, everybody.
Next up, I think we have Mary Ann that's going to be presenting with Hope Credit Union.
Good morning, everyone. Piggybacking off of Charmaine and talking about credit, when you come to a credit union, that personal credit with your business, if you don't have business credit already established, is so key and so important for getting your small business off the ground. And that's something we look at when we start the process of doing a loan for a small business for someone who doesn't have business credit. So those were very good key points to take in consideration. Now, if you have your business already established, and if you don't, for a small business, the first thing that we want to do is, let's see, there we go. The first thing you will want to do is the 3 business reporting agencies. A lot of people don't know about Dun and Bradstreet getting your Dun's number. A lot of people just go and get their tax ID number, but don't get that Dun's number. Experian and Equifax are the 3 key business reporting agencies for businesses. Okay. Obtaining that tax ID number from the Internal Revenue. A lot of people have that part together. They'll get that, but they forget about their DUNS number. Your DUNS number is important also for your business, is to make sure that you have that. To subscribe to a reporting services that meets your needs and budget. Providing your business registration information, financial statements, and accounts to be included in your report to help establish your credit. And using the reports are produced by the service to build strength in your business. Having those things in place and using those, having financial statements and your profit and loss statement, it helps you to be able to gauge your business, if your business is a success, or are there areas of improvement that you might need to improve in with your business. If you don't have those things in place, if you haven't gotten your IRS number, if you hadn't gotten your DUNS number, majority of the time you can't go to institution to establish an account. Deciding if you're going to be a LLC or a LLC S Corp or LLC sole proprietor, if you're just going to be a straight sole proprietor, having those documents that you need for your business in place is very key and important. And then having a clear understanding of your finances for your business, so that you can, be successful in your business, making the right choices, and with picking up a contract or hire another person, so that you can make sure that you have the funds that you need to be able to be successful on a month-to-month basis. And you can't do that if you don't have things put in place. Having that banking account and doing all of your transactions through your business banking account, not having your business banking account set up with your personal, separating your personal accounts from your business and running everything through your business account is key when it comes to your credit, because when you get ready to go somewhere to get anything, you need those documents and that proof of those things, so that you can obtain a loan, so that you can report to these different credit bureaus to establish business credit. And a lot of people don't understand that, and they don't have their things in place from the beginning so that they can establish business credit. So the first thing, I'll repeat again, is the key is getting your IRS number, but not just getting your IRS number, we're getting that DUNS number. Establishing a business account somewhere with the institution, having that, and then getting someone to help with your books, keeping up with your accounting, your expenses, so that you can have good credit, because all of those things play key place when it comes to your business credit. A business credit report includes commercial credit risk score. You have your commercial credit risk score, indicators to predict the potential for business failure. It will notify you within that the areas that you need to improve in. Credit filings in existence for secure property, business ownership information, other business owned by the same organization, and public records of security interest filings. So you want to have, like I state, and I can't keep saying, the importance of that, having all your things in order when you're operating in your business, so that things will be reported to your business credit reporting agencies correctly. And then you have documentation for yourself in regards to your business credit, okay? Personal impact on business, your personal credit impact on business is key. And that's the first thing that I see as sometimes something that is a holdback for people, is because they don't have their personal credit together. As Charmaine said, then they can't have their business credit together. So the first thing, your personal, having your personal credit together, because the majority of the time, as stated before, when you get ready to start your business and you need a line of credit, let's say you need a line of credit for your business, and you don't have business credit, the first thing that banks and credit unions are going to look at is your personal credit. And this slide says build business credit with personal liability. You're the guarantor for your business. You're the person that's going to guarantee that your business, it is successful. So you want to establish credit with vendors and suppliers. How do you do that? By making your payments on time with those vendors, by meeting the needs of those vendors and suppliers, so that you can build that relationship and build your credit worthiness with those vendors and suppliers. Build credit with your local bank in the business name. That goes back to establishing an account. If you don't have an account somewhere with your business, I encourage you today to seek out. We have a wonderful program at Hope for business owners to get your business account established. So, open up an account, even if you start out with a savings account, and do transactions through that savings account, so that you can establish an account somewhere with a local bank, so that you can get your business things in order. And then maintain established vendor and supplier relationships. Keep those relationships with those vendors that you have. If you have someone that you've been using for a long time, having that long-term relationship with that vendor and that supplier really helps your business credit. It shows history, just like on the personal side, for you with your business. So maintaining that long relationship with your vendors and supplier is key, okay? And if you have any questions in regards to anything that I've said or anything that you might need information in regards to that, I'll be sending out an email also with my contact information so that you can have, contact me with any other questions or any other needs that you may need. Thank you.
We've got a question in the chat about what a DUNS number is. Can you spend a couple minutes talking about what a DUNS number is, the process, how much it costs?
I can. The cost, I can't remember exactly how much it costs, but I can research that and send that out in my email as well, how much it costs to get a DUNS number. But what it is, it's just, it's like a RS number. It's like a social security number for your business. It's building that business, that number is like building credit for you. If vendors and merchants report to DUNS, they report, your pay history and things like that in regards to your credit worthiness attached to that number. You can go to the website, Duns and Bradstreet website, to apply. If I'm not mistaken, it's not expensive to do that. But like I stated, I can't remember right off the cost for it, but I will get that information for you.
I believe it's free.
Okay.
So I know obtaining your EIN is free, and we've dropped the links to check if you have a DUNS number already, if you don't, to apply for one, as well as the IRS website for getting your EIN. Those numbers are really critical, especially if you plan on doing government contracting. They need you, the order of operations is you need to get your EIN number, that's your employer identification number from the IRS. It's free. If you Google it, the first couple links that will show up on Google will be paid, like you have to pay to get it. You do not need to pay to get it. Very rarely you'll have to send a letter into the IRS, but most of the time you can apply online. It will take you 15 minutes. You need your social security number. You need to know the formation of the type of formation of the entity type that you're forming. So whether you're a sole proprietorship, a partnership, limited liability, an S corp, if you're selecting the S corp taxation, a corporation, nonprofit, and you can just do it right online. It's a very simple process. And if you get halfway through and have no idea what's going on, you've only wasted about 7 minutes and $0. So you can always close out, go do some more research, contact one of us, and we can walk you through that process. Once you get your EIN, that is really how, honestly, we recommend you get it as soon as possible in your business so that you can use it on your business licensing forms to open your business bank account, set up those vendor relationships, purchase, anything that you would normally need your social security number for, it adds that layer of protection. So once you have your EIN, then you can go and register and get your DUNS number for free. And I believe that's an online process as well, although I believe there's some paper forms that you do have to send in because it really is establishing the credit report for your business. So just like your personal credit report sometimes has errors on it, you want to check to make sure that your DUNS credit report is up to date and accurate as well, because that can also have errors on it. And if you are looking to do government contracting or set up larger wholesale or retail accounts with vendors, you're going to need to make sure that your creditworthiness on paper through DUNS is as accurate as you are responsible in person. And so that is the goal of making sure that these numbers are all set up and in order. Do we have, if folks in the chat could, we've got another question here. Can you apply for a DUNS number with an ITIN number? I do not know.
Know about that.
So I'm not familiar with ITIN. Is that just like a taxpayer identification number?
Correct, Catherine. So people that aren't able to apply for a social security number have an ITIN number. So
I would think so. I would think so, because foreign companies need to get DUNS numbers to do contracts with the government, and they need to get a DUNS number before they can register with SAM. So I think they can use their ITIN number. That is a good question for our PTAC folks, though. We have a group of specialists that work with government contracting, and they walk folks through setting up DUNS and getting their SAM numbers, or SAM accounts and cage codes all set up all the time. But I believe so. I believe so. Have any businesses or folks that are participating in this, have you set up your DUNS number? Have you checked what your DUNS credit rating is? If you want to drop that in the chat. And while we're waiting on folks to answer, awesome. We got no, but I'm working on it now. Awesome, excellent. That's the change we like to see. Anybody that needs assistance, we are the contact folks that you can reach out to work through those questions as you go through. We got another question. I'm currently working on certification for my consulting practice. Is it a good plan to start a bank account now that I'm spending or not, but not yet generating income?
Yes, it's good for you to go ahead and establish that business account, because what you're doing, you're establishing a relationship. Even though you might not have income generated, but you're establishing a relationship with a financial institution. So I say yes. Good question.
I'll also piggyback and add to that. One thing, you want to always keep your personal and your business separate. So that's another reason why you want to keep a personal account and a business account. I'll give an example. If you were a sole proprietorship and for some reason someone decided to sue you, they could personally sue yourself if you were a sole proprietor operating under your social. So think about it. You could have avoided that if you had set up that EIN and actually kept those separate versus you having that under your personal social security. So that's why as a business owner, I would definitely recommend that you have that established. Also, make sure that you have a business banker. Make sure that you have someone that is there to assist you, to really know about your business and really guiding you in regards to how your business account needs to be set up. You could get charged business fees that could be eliminated based off of the amount of transactions that you have. So it's very vital that you have that relationship, and I'm sure Marianne can attest to this, that you have someone that can really guide you and let you know what's best for your business as well.
Wanted to ask for a little bit of clarification on that. So any of my personal funds used for payments should be deposited to the account, then paid from that account? Is that what you would recommend, Charmaine?
So yes, so one thing as a business owner, I'll add, make sure you pay yourself first. A lot of times you end up mixing the two of those, the business and the personal, but you again want to keep those separate. Make sure that you have business account, personal account, and you actually pay yourself from your business to that personal. Now, starting off, I know that you are getting yourself established and you're starting out to kind of get things where they need to be, but that's where you need to go to your banker and make sure that they help you to guide you in the right direction of where you need to go for that. If you do end up depositing items into your personal account, make sure that you're utilizing items such as QuickBooks or different things that are out there to help you to know exactly how you're funding things and where your money is coming from, because that can also become a problem as well. As well as if you were to walk into a bank and you were trying to get a loan, they're going to want to know that information, and having that coming from your personal account, there may be a challenge to show that that's related to your business as well.
Carrie asks, how do I find a business banker?
I would say to make sure that you, first of all, realize what needs you want with a banking institution when you're looking for a business banker. decide what your business need, what type of services do you need, and then begin to shop around for that, those institutions that can meet those needs. Don't just go to one place and just think, this is it. Shop around to see what banking institution fits your needs, and then go from there. But like Charmaine said, having that personal relationship with a personal banker that you have that relationship with helps you in the long run with establishing credit with your account. When you need things real quickly, you can call your personal banker and get things much quicker. And when institutions are working with business owners that have personal bankers, it makes them feel more secure that you actually have someone that you are working with. It shows that you're actually responsible, that you are, you're responsible because you have that account and you have someone that is actually helping you with your business. So I would say shop around and find the institution that fits your needs, what you need for your business.
When I was a brand new business owner making every mistake in the book, I mean like every mistake in the book, I had no idea what I needed in a business banking relationship. And in fact, my experience with credit had only been negative up until that point. And that's another story for a different day. But what I did was exactly what Marianne suggested. I shopped around because that's what I knew how to do. I would shop around for shoes. I was going to shop around for a bank. And so I went to 3 or 4 different banks. And honestly, I did read the fine print. It's one of my skill sets. So if you're uncomfortable with fine print, just bring a magnifying glass. And make them explain it to you. And if they don't have time to explain the fine print to you, then they're not going to have time to explain the fine print later on. And that's a red flag. So having financial literacy classes, that is huge. Doing community outreach, that's huge. Understanding your personal business and your industry and getting excited about your products and services, that's a great sign, right? You want somebody that's going to help you grow by being interested in your business growth. And so those are really good signs. But the fact is that everybody's going to have a different need for their business. Everybody has a different personality. And so finding that banker or that bank that matches your personality, as well as having that deep industry experience and connections to the community, is going to leave you a much happier client, right? And what we're seeing, especially with the Paycheck Protection Program, is that folks that didn't have those relationships with bankers are scrambling and are in much worse of a case. So you're working for yourself, you're not working by yourself. Surround yourself by people who are experts in their area that can help you with that area when you need it.
That's all very good information. Any other questions? Also, Celsa or Gloria, would you all like to add to any of the information that we provided? So they were so kind to be here to provide translation in Spanish for anyone that might have been on the call. If there's anything that you all feel like you all want to add, please feel free.
Thank you, Charmaine. Thank you, Catherine and Marianne. Great information about bankers. It's a passion of mine, financial capability, and just having those resources for the community. So likewise, at HICA, we hold a list of bankers that are bilingual and are able to talk to the community about their specialties. But first of all, we always say, hey, who's your personal banker and do you have a relationship with them? And they're like, well, why do I need it? Emphasizing the same points that you all give for that personal aspect. And I'm like, because they can point you out, you can have a conversation with them and let them know what your needs and what tools are available. They'll let you know that. But yeah, you'll find bankers that have a passion to help. That, like I said, they get excited when you talk to them about your small business. They want to see, and you walk in the door and they remember your name. It's extremely important building that financial relationship. And likewise, the bankers like to see it of us. I was in the banking institution for good over 8 years, and it was a passion seeing someone coming in and their small business is launched and they're doing wonderful. And they're like, well, I need this kind of service. I need debit card or credit card processing system. I'm like, you know what? Let me find you someone that can help you. I'll get in touch with someone and I'll get back to you. So make sure that when you tell them your needs, you know, the bankers, they'll follow up with you. They'll keep in touch with you. They'll give you a call and say, hey, how's that new debit card you received? Is it working out just fine? Just making sure that it's working out, and if you need anything else. No, when a banker does communicate with you, it's wonderful. So like I was saying, if you do need resources in Spanish, to have those local bankers, that's going to help you build credit, business bankers. In Spanish, we do have a list of that in HICA that we can help out with that. Thank you.
There was a question in the chat from Carrie about any recommendations that any of the current participants have about banking relationships that they have. So we've seen somebody dropped in Iberia and Crestline. They're great. Any other recommendations? Who do you all bank with? If it's, you know, if that's a question that we can talk about. And while you're dropping that in the chat, and we are going to wrap up in just a couple minutes. Something that that we started this conversation on was about the mistakes that we make in our youth regarding credit. And I want to emphasize that point, that it is about education, because I feel like there's a lot of stigma and taboos about talking about money and education on finances, and yet financial empowerment is real empowerment. Financial empowerment is power. It's freedom, and we're in business to gain financial freedom. And so talking about and learning about money can be a sensitive issue, but this is a safe place. And the more you talk about money, the less stigmatized poverty and questions and our silly mistakes just because of a lack of knowledge become. And so I would encourage you to talk about money, talk about your finances, talk about credit with, you know, not with everyone, obviously, but with folks like your banker, with Operation Hope, with HICA, with your business advisor and mentors, so that you know that you're on the right track with building your credit, or with, you know, your costs, things like that. So, you know, I'm so glad to see so many people participating in this seminar today, because I think, and from my experience, talking about money is difficult, because we have a lot of shame around mistakes that we have, whether we made them yesterday or 25 years ago, and it really shouldn't be that way. We should embrace those mistakes as learning opportunities that we can recover from, because our financial circumstances have nothing to do with our integrity as humans, as contributors to our families and our communities. And so if we separate our self-worth from the value of our bank account, that alleviates the pressure for us to hide that information. So again, you know, definitely be aware of scams and predators out there, you know, potential identity theft issues, but also knowing who and when you can talk about money openly and freely to get that education, to get those tips on how to improve your circumstances, is really a critical way to move forward. So feel free to drop any other questions in the chat. We're going to be here for about 5 more minutes, and then we'll close things out.
Well, in response to the question about migrating accounts, one thing that we always suggested was it's important to have at least 2 relationships, one with a bigger financial institution, because there's a lot of resources that you can benefit from there, products available. But however, they also have the smaller institutions, credit unions that are more locally. You have that personal relationship, might be easier for you to get a loan, personal, and start business. So having those are really important. When you're thinking about migrating, remember that if you've been with a particular institution, let's say 5 years, you've already built that history with them. So if you're going to start to migrate, because you found another institution that is going to serve your needs better, it's great. You know, you make that decision. However, I always suggest that you keep a relationship with the previous one, maybe a small savings account. That way you don't terminate that relationship completely. Because let's say after 5 years of being with a financial institution, you decide to migrate to another one, and you already have that 5 year of relationship there. Leave a small savings account. That way, maybe 5 years later, you come down the line and you still have a 10-year relationship with the first institution and a 5 year with the second one. So that way you can always negotiate. Maybe when you're going for a mortgage or a loan, you can negotiate, because like, I've been your customer for so long, and you have that just power for you. So that's a suggestion.
Thank you. There was a question in the chat. We just mentioned identity theft. Can a business be hit with identity theft? I do not know the answers to that.
I would imagine that you could, just like your personal social security number can be compromised. I'm sure your EIN number can be compromised. I know you could have issues with your accounts, of course, with someone going into those and compromising them, but I don't see why that wouldn't be an issue. It's easy, very easy in today's age for someone to say, hey, I'm an investor in that company, or I'm a partner in that company, and people will try things, and I'm sure Mary Ann can attest to this. And by the way, I come from a banking background as well, so that's why I've kind of jumped in on the banking side and started talking from that. But you see, I think identity theft and issues, whether it's personal or business. So yes, definitely do things to protect your business. One thing, for an example, is just the credit card machines. As a business owner, a lot of people have personal information, and you have to be careful of who you're using to encrypt your clients with those business credit cards. So that's why it's vital that you have that set up with a professional bank and a professional organization that is giving you what you need to prevent from your client's information being exposed. So that's just an example of how that could happen to a business. But yes, definitely, I do think it could be something that can affect even a business.
Great question. Charmaine, while we've got you, tell me, does foreclosure and eviction, do they impact credit reports? And if so, how?
Yes, so they definitely impact your credit report. You will see that information show up on your credit report, as well as it will affect your score. So those are two items that can negatively impact your credit. That you're typically usually dealing with the 7-year time period of having that item removed from your credit report as well. So when we do understand that things happen, having you to reestablish and rebuilding after that is what's key. And that's why, like, that secured credit card I mentioned to you is important, or even the secured loan was a great product to help you to become reestablished from that.
How about medical bills and collection? I understand that some lenders treat them a little bit differently, and so many folks have medical bills, and I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic, right? So how are medical bills, and how are medical bills, what leeway do we have? If we're delinquent on a medical bill, typically how long do we have before they're reported to our credit, and what happens once they are?
So each company is different. Typically, they're going to give you a certain amount of time before they're reported to your credit. Some companies wait as long as a year. So you may not show anything on your credit because they do try to work with you. And this is one thing I always tell my clients: answer the phone. Don't just let them keep calling. Even if you're just paying them $10 a month towards that medical collection, it's better than nothing. And that way it will not report to your credit. You can have those collection items reported to your credit. They will typically show up like any other collection. Now, depending on the situation, if you were to apply for a credit card, they will hold that medical collection against you. But if you were to apply for a home mortgage, they can help to have that item removed, per se, from your credit report, so it's not hurting you as much. So it really depends on the situation of what you're applying for, or whether they'll apply it to you. I always recommend medical collections have those cleared just like you have any other collection cleared as well, and making sure that you know exactly what's on there, and try to avoid, like I mentioned, having an item put on the credit report.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So we're going to wrap it up. It is 11 a.m. now. Thank you all so much for joining us. We've got seminars just about every Tuesday and Thursday for the next couple weeks, and they cover a variety of topics. So please check us out at Rebound Birmingham on Eventbrite or on Rev's homepage, and connect with us in the future. We're all here to help you recover, and we're here to help Birmingham rebound. Thanks, everyone. The slides will be available shortly. Thanks, everybody.